What is going on? I hope everyone is doing so good today. Welcome back. I am very excited to make this video. For you guys, it probably looks like I'm posting at a normal time, but for me, I'm kind of filming this and editing this all in the span of like a day or two, which is very abnormal for me. To be 100% honest, the last 2 to 3 weeks have been very weird and definitely kind of rough for me. I've had some personal changes in my life that have definitely affected not only like my mood, but my inspiration and my urge to like create and to do a lot of the fun things that I do on the side that, you know, are fun, that, you know, bring me a lot of joy. It's definitely been frustrating more than anything, but I'm okay. Things go on. It's definitely just a little bump in the road for me. I'm feeling a lot better. I'm feeling like I'm getting into the groove of things. And I woke up today feeling really inspired and really wanting to just make something. So I am making a video showing off 5 new plants that I have gotten over the past week. I've literally just got all of these. These are all fresh. I all got them on the same day, just got them in different areas. So it was a very planty Sunday. But I just want to say, if you're new here and you enjoy plant content or just home decor content, definitely give me a thumbs up. Give me a follow, a sub. It helps me out a ton. Let's get right into the plants. I got 3 from a plant swap and I'm gonna save those to the end. They're all Hoyas, but they're all really freaking cool. And I want to talk a little bit more about the plant swap and all of them in general. And then I got 2 other ones just kind of out and about shopping. These aren't Hoyas, but they are still nonetheless really freaking cool. The first one that I have here is going to be called the Rhipsalis monacantha. It is another Rhipsalis. I mentioned it a couple videos back. I'm really getting invested in Rhipsalis. There are so many cool species and they're just such a fun and interesting trailing plant. Just love that they are more of like a jungle cacti. The way that as they grow, they kind of cascade and just kind of trail down is just so stunning. Like, I don't know how else to say it. It's just really stunning. I don't want to hate, you know, on pothos or like trailing philodendron, like no tea, no shade at all to those ones, because there's a reason why they're so popular. But I will say, if I walked into someone's home and I saw one of these cascading down their bookshelf, I would have something to say, and it would be very positive, because these guys are just so cool. The other thing that's really fun about this one too, as I was doing more research on it, they produce the cutest orange blooms. The photos I was seeing, they were just covered in them. So are you hearing any negatives? I hear no negatives. I only hear positives, and I'm very positive that everyone should have more Rhipsalis in their collection. Once again, this is the Rhipsalis monacantha. This next one I am very enamored by, but also extremely frightened of, for one specific reason. And as soon as I talk about it, if you know, you'll know. But the plant that I'm talking about is this little cutie here. This is a Stapelia gigantea, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. The reason why I'm a little bit more worried about it, and not that it's pointy or sharp or anything like that, it is actually the blooms that I'm scared of. These guys produce these gorgeous, almost starfish-like blooms that are so gorgeous, so beautiful to look at, but the blooms smell like they smell very stinky, very no-no, very much like dead, rotting meat, corpse. I actually haven't ever seen these bloom in person. I've never experienced the smell, but the reason why I'm so scared about this one is I do not have an outside balcony. I don't have anywhere where I can put this. So there is a part of me that is scared that I'm going to have to like go put this somewhere, I don't know, out of this apartment complex, out of this area once it blooms. If the smell is as bad as I've been told, or depending on how far it lingers. If I can keep it like contained in an area, or maybe I'll enjoy the bloom for a little bit and maybe cut it. I don't want to, but that is definitely gonna be like the biggest trade-off. When I was getting this, I was with my partner and I looked at him and I was like, can I please get this? And he's like, yeah, that's fine. And I was like, are you sure? Like, are you 100% sure? Because I told him the same thing I'm telling you guys. Like, we have nowhere to put this. When it blooms, it's gonna smell stinky. Like, are you okay? He's like, yeah, no, go for it. So we're gonna see how that goes in general. Right now I have it on my south facing window. It seems to be doing pretty good overall. It does have another bloom coming here. It's a very interesting one because it also has like a fuzzy feeling to it, and like you can kind of see the cat hair getting stuck onto it as well. This is the Stapelia giganteum. The next three that we have here are all from this plant swap that I mentioned before. Now, I live in Arizona and we have plant swaps here and there, but I don't see them that often. I want to say maybe maybe 1 or 2 a year max from the past. I don't know what it is, but all of a sudden in the last like couple of months, there have been multiple just happening back to back, which I am very happy about. It's one thing when you can't make it to one and it's like once a year and it's kind of a bummer, because that's where you get the good stuff. That's where you find the interesting things, at least in my opinion, because you have these really interesting people in the plant community that grow very niche things. Like a lot of the vendors that were at this plant swap, a lot of them were Hoya growers or had a lot of Hoya. And it was so cool to see because there's so many species that I've never seen in my life. And it made me realize how many Hoya there were actually out there. I have a lot of I don't want to say like basic, but like more the common ones that you'll see, like Hoya compacta. I have a Hoya australis. I have a Hoya crimson queen. And all doing really good, all growing very well. I have a Hoya linearis, which I feel like is one that you don't run into too often, but it's not super crazy hard to find. But these 3 were ones that just I gravitated towards. As soon as I saw them, I was like, please don't be overpriced, or please don't be too expensive or out of my budget. And I was able to get all the ones that I wanted, which was super, super exciting. I don't want to say I have favorites, but I definitely have them kind of ranked. So I'm going to go from my least favorite one, which is still one that I really like, to my absolute like most favorite. So to start it off, I have this absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous Hoya. This was labeled as Hoya SP Germany. At least that's what the seller told me. I tried looking up a little bit more, but I was not able to find too much. I also started really deep diving into Hoya, and I started watching Basie. I want to say it's Basie. I might be pronouncing the name wrong, and if so, I am so sorry. But if you are interested in Hoyas or want to learn more about Hoyas, oh my God, go follow that channel. I went in a deep dive yesterday. I'm talking like 6 hours nonstop, just looking at their Hoya collection, learning about Hoyas. Either way, this is the SP Germany. Really, really pretty. I love how big the foliage is able to get. I don't know if this is the biggest the leaves can get, but this is how big this one is. They also sun stress, really, really beautiful. I think I noticed a trend with me. I really like big leaf Hoyas, and I like Hoyas that look like they belong in Jurassic Park. I love that prehistoric look. I think that's something really interesting that only Hoya kind of have, if that makes sense, or like that I've seen. And so if it looks like it belongs in Jurassic Park, I'm probably interested in it in some form. It is in pond and it is rooted up. I've never messed with pond in my life. I started doing a bunch of research on pond. Pond still confuses me. I don't feel like it should be as confusing as I'm making it out to be, but every time I watched videos, everyone kind of did something different with pond. Some people filled it up all the way, some people only did a little bit, some people let it dry out, some people never let it dry out. So I'm very torn. If you use pond and you have a really good flow of pond, please leave me a comment. Please tell me what you do. If you have a video recommendation, let me know. I want to learn more about it. It seems like a very good substrate and I'm actually very interested in it and some other types of plants. I'm kind of a old-fashioned soil type individual, but I'm not opposed to using other substrates other than, you know, soil and like moss, which are like my go-tos usually. But once again, this is the SP Germany. I'm very, very excited for this one. It has 2 tendrils. It looks like this one is potentially putting out some new leaves. And I can't tell if the tips are browned out or if they're still growing, but I just have them in the grow cabinet right now. I have it on the top shelf. I'm gonna keep an eye on it. If it just gives me smaller leaves or if I don't see any crazy growth, I think I'm gonna drop it down and we'll kind of see how it goes from there. This next Hoya is one that I actually did really want. I actually knew the name of it. I've done research on it. I'm very fascinated by it. I think it's really cool. And I've never been able to see it in person or run into it. There's been a couple times in like some of the plant groups that I'm in Facebook, someone put it up for sale and I've contemplated it, but I've always was just like, no, not now. Went to this plant swap, saw it, and I was like, oh, this is so pretty in person. I absolutely think I need to get this. And so after talking to her, she convinced me and I went for it. It is this absolute behemoth. This is the Hoya latifolia SP Sarawak, I believe is how it's pronounced. Once again, tying into what I said I like about Hoyas is just I love the bigger leaf Hoyas. I'm like, freaking massive little Hoya. Like it's so cool to see how big these leaves can kind of get. When I got it, it was also in leca, but you can see the roots are definitely rooted up very well. When I was talking to her, she said that they grow relatively quick, so I'm interested to see how it goes. I have this right next to the SP Germany in the cabinet as well too, and I'm just kind of letting it exist. It's pretty close to the grow light. We'll see how it goes. I don't really see any new growth point, at least to my knowledge, but it is rooted up, it's still chilling. Once again, it's in pond, so I'm not 100% sure how I should be doing stuff. Haven't ran into any issues yet. Once again, I've only had these for like a week, so I've only had to give them water not too long ago, and I'm just kind of waiting to see how this goes. I haven't actually seen the blooms for either one of these, the SP Germany or the Sarawak. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily someone that shoots for Hoyas specifically for the blooms. I'm definitely more of a foliage individual, but I think a big chunk of that has to do with I haven't had any of my other Hoyas bloom for me. My Crimson Queen has given me peduncles, and she has gone to the point where she's almost done it for me, but she never has fully committed. I think it's at a point where it can bloom, it just hasn't done it. So maybe once I start getting more blooms, then I'll start hunting down Hoyas for more of the bloom aspect, but as of now, it's definitely more of the foliage for me, if anything. Last but definitely not least, I have this cute Hoya here. This is the Hoya undulata. When I tell you, I freaked out when I saw this. Once again, I'm not like a huge Hoya person. I don't know all the different types of Hoyas. I know a lot of the common ones, but that's about it. I remember I saw someone do an import video. They had the Hoya undulata red, and I was like, this is gorgeous. I love the way it looks, the leaf shape, everything about it, 10 out of 10. And when I was at that plant swap and I was looking through, I saw 3 of these little tubes, and literally they had the undulata in them. And I was like, no freaking way. That is definitely the one that I saw in the video, other than it not being the red version. And I was like, I think I need this. And the crazy thing is if I don't buy cuttings, like you'll never catch me buy just a cutting. I'm very, very hesitant about that because that's just kind of like, you're really risking it. No root system, no nothing. But when I saw this, I was like, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna hope for the best. Let's see what goes on. And I'm very happy I did. It is in the process of rooting. I see roots coming out and I'm feeling really, really confident about this. When I tell you the leaves on this are just gorgeous. They get massive, really, really stunning. And I actually did look up the blooms. It was so sick. I don't even know how to describe them. Everything about this plant, I am like in a chokehold at. I'm so excited to turn this little cutting into like a big old Hoya undulata. Like that is like 2024 goals for me because it's probably gonna take some time. I am so excited. Any tips that people have for, you know, rooting up Hoyas, potting up Hoyas? Like I said, pond is new to me. I'm definitely thinking about getting into pond for some of these Hoyas because they seem to freaking love it. This is the Hoya undulata. Definitely my favorite thing that I've gotten over the past week, and I am so excited for this one. With that being the case, that is going to be a wrap for today's video. Thank you so much for hanging out and watching. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. Do you have any of these plants? Do you have the Stapelia? Do you have any Hoyas? Are any of these a wish list plant? I'd love to hear about that. Also, please leave me a comment if you know about pond and you can explain it, or you have a recommendation of someone I should watch that will explain pond better. I want to know. I want to know a little bit more. I want to see if this is maybe another substrate that would be really beneficial for me and some of the plants that I have. That being the case, I do hope everyone has a lovely rest of their day or night, wherever they may be, and I will catch you in the next one. Later.